and welcome to the Danger in Silence. I am Devon Gross, and I am joined here with
Hannah Woodman.
And today we'll be talking about spring cleaning.
So spring cleaning, as we all know, I think is pretty widely celebrated in some way or another in our community. But we really wanted to get into what spring cleaning means, how that can affect your life, how cleaning at all can be kind of beneficial for your mental health, and also talk about taking some of those spring cleaning ideas and applying them to your mental well-being. And we've got kind of a fun plethora of options to support you in your spring cleaning of your own home as well as your brain.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know this has been the mood I've been in lately with it being so bright and sunny out. I think that's really, I feel like I've woken back up. We live in Maine, so it's probably going to get dark and cold again. But for now, it's been sunny and springy, and I really feel like I've just woken up out of the fog from the post-holidays, which we did an episode about the winter blues. So if you are interested about that, that's interesting as well. So it's very exciting to be able to talk about kind of what goes on and different ways that we can, use this mood that a lot of us get into to help better our mental health and our physical health. And I know that what goes on around us can definitely very much change what is going on in our minds. I also know that using this extra energy can sometimes feel overwhelming as well. Things start to, I know for me, things start to get overwhelming with all the big changes I want to make or all the stuff. I know I've been very much lately with my child. We have too much stuff. We need to get rid of some stuff. And he's not a big fan of that. But that can be overwhelming as well. And it feels like it needs to be tackled right away. So there's definitely a lot of ways that we can make it more into bite-sized pieces. And also different ways that spring cleaning, we do have ways that it does actually help and mentally affect us.
Yeah, so right off the bat, when we're talking about spring cleaning and we're thinking about the effect it can have on ourselves when our home reflects kind of a healthier atmosphere, there are kind of pretty wide array of benefits. So improved mood because you're not as stressed as you were. I think even if you're comfortable in getting through life in a messy world, it can be really, really stressful. And kind of that chronic gnawing of like, this needs to get fixed. Like, I have to do this. It can really relieve a lot of that tension. And it also makes maintaining your lifestyle, maintaining your workspace, your home space much easier if you can work on it piece by piece. Like, I'm a big fan of like 10 minutes a day just doing like what I can. And that I find really helpful because it seems like nothing, but it's like how long it takes for a life to recharge on one of my puzzle games. So it's perfect. It also can be a wonderful booster in fostering creativity. I know for myself, a big part of cleaning is also organizing all of my art supplies and my craft supplies and going through that. And I think, for better or for worse, I tend to have a lot more energy spring, summer, fall. I think a lot of people in northern climates are familiar with that. But rediscovering and getting to enjoy like the fabrics I purchased when I was a little bit more active around the house and seeing the artwork up and, finding a book that I ordered that I haven't had the chance to read yet, like can be a really lovely way to celebrate kind of all these things that are already in your life too. And I love that.
Yeah, no, I definitely just thinking what you were saying about just doing something for 10 minutes a day, there are two mottos that I do try to live by, which is, first of all, if you have 2 minutes and it takes 2 minutes, then do it. There's a YouTuber called Lydia Sen that I love to watch, and she talks about productivity in a non-overwhelming way, in a not influencer. It's very much a normal person who has a little bit of time and how to make that more productive. And so I really love her content. Shout out there. But she talks about if you have 2 minutes and it takes 2 minutes, do it. So if you have 2 minutes and it's going to take 2 minutes to get the dishes put away, just do it. It feels sometimes like, well, if I can't clean my whole kitchen, what's the point of cleaning? I know I get that mindset, and I know a lot of people I know get in that mindset as well, of that overwhelming of, if I can't do the whole thing, why do it? But the other motto I live by that ties into that is something's better than nothing. So doing that, taking 2 minutes to put the dishes away, is better than not doing anything. If you have the capacity, sometimes even putting the dishes away is too much in the moment, but just not being hard on yourself because you only did that thing, but instead celebrate the thing that you did do. You did something, and that's better than not doing anything. In terms of helping your mental health, is being able to do, take that time. The 2 minutes that you have is better than really being hard on yourself and just saying, well, I can't do this whole thing, so why bother doing it? For me, I know that makes a huge difference in my mental health of celebrating those little things. But okay, I took that time to do this, so that is very good for my mental health, as well as you were saying, making it so that you can keep things cleaner, and that helps your mental health as well. I know for me that one thing that is, I'm constantly cleaning all the time, because I'm the type of person that needs things put away in order for me to thrive and in order for me to function at my best. And I have been thinking about it a lot lately, because one thing is I spend so much time putting stuff away that I'm losing time being able to take care of myself and have some self-care time. And I think that's a great thing to think about if you have less. If you have things more organized, you have the things that you don't use out of there, and get rid of some of that stuff, you'll have now more time in your day to be able to take care of yourself more and not be focusing on putting stuff away. I also find for clothes, that's something that is quite commonly talked about, is that if you have more clothes, it's just going to get overwhelming, because like, I don't know about you, but I have so many clothes I haven't worn in a year. So when I'm getting dressed, it makes it a lot more overwhelming, because I now have so many choices, but there are choices that I could very easily get rid of. And I know that that would actually help my mental health. So I know that's something too that a lot of people suggest for you to do, is to just go through. And if you don't, you really don't wear it, and it's something you really do not think you're going to wear, to donate it to someone else who might have a good use for it. And then you'll feel less overwhelmed in the morning of getting dressed. And that's one less thing that you'll need to make a decision on, because decision fatigue could be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. And I think also when we're talking about spring cleaning, we're thinking about capitalizing on that fresh start. So one person who we discovered in doing research for this podcast is a woman named Catherine Milkman, a Wharton professor and behavioral economist and decision-making scholar.
Ooh,
which I really like.
Love that.
Yeah. And her idea of the temporal landmark. So this is borrowed from Michael Schum's 1998 research on autobiographical memory, but some dates, more than others, stand in marked contrast to the seemingly unending stream of trivial and ordinary occurrences. So Milkman looked at this in order to kind of see how we just interpret temporal limits in our lives, and like what a fresh start is, and how it's really individual to each person. One thing that she brought up is the idea of New Year's Day in the US, Lunar New Year, and Jewish New Year, and about how for certain populations, each one of those can be like a really maybe like the biggest like fresh start of the year. But for others of us, it really doesn't affect us. And that's some of that temporal, like the intimacy of that and how it really is for each of us. So another thing was like this fresh start effect and the idea that maybe like a Monday makes it feel more possible than trying to like make a change on a Friday. And in order to maximize your ability to benefit and prosper and do well and succeed in a task that you want to do. Like if you want to work on 10 minutes a day cleaning, 2 minutes a day doing like little things around the house, is that something you want to build up? Then maybe starting the habit on a temporal landmark can be a really strong motivation. And you can capitalize on that energy that you're feeling in order to flourish. And so I really loved that motivation and the idea that, you know, pick dates that are important for you and times when you might feel more apt to want to make a change, and then really emphasize that and lean into it and understand that maybe if you fail at starting a new habit, everyone fails and picks themselves up. Like it's a part of life. So just find your next temporal landmark and give it a try. You know, if you had a rough week keeping up with daily cleanings or you're not making your lunches or whatever it is, maybe just wait and start on Monday and emphasize on that. So I don't know. I really liked that.
I love Mondays. I feel like I'm sometimes like I think that I didn't used to like Mondays at all, but I think that fresh start mindset of if I'm having a rough Thursday, Friday, definitely my house does not stay clean through the week, and it definitely feels like, okay, Monday, Sunday, I try to do a reset if I have time and clean and get things in place, and then Mondays feel very much like, okay, I'm starting fresh, I have more energy. And I really love Mondays, and I think that's a really great point. And that makes sense too. I think that the first of the month is also a very good marking of time and feeling like, right, this is the first day of the month or even the first day of a season. I really like that research that it does, for a lot of us, does affect us. And it does give us that chance to have that fresh start. And I did have someone teach me one time, and it doesn't work all the time, but it is fun advice that I like, is that if you're having a really rough day and you're like, I can't just wait till tomorrow. Like I need to let myself, I need to get this done. I need to do that. I can't just wait till Monday to start this over again or if you're really trying to stick to doing something and doing it every day and you're like, okay, I'm going to be upset at myself if I don't do this. Mm-hmm. Turn around, like physically turn your body in a circle, and it gives you a fresh start. Obviously it doesn't work every day, but it does to me sometimes when I'm in like a really much like a funk and I'm like, okay, well I need to do this, or I'm going to be frustrated with myself if I don't do that. Just physically turning in the circle to me will give me a fresh start. And it's like, okay, it feels like a new day. Yeah. And it's just a fun little tip that I do find sometimes when things are feeling overwhelming, those don't work, and that's okay. But it's nice to have a toolkit of things that you can do to really refresh that. And I think that it also depends on the mood of it's taken me a long time to really balance between wanting to make that change and trying to force myself to make a change. Mm. I think that using that as an opportunity, and that's talked about a lot too, is using it as an opportunity to make that change and something you've been wanting to do, and not necessarily saying, oh, I have to do this because this is the start of a new week or a new month. And then on that too is setting reasonable expectations for yourself. I know especially at the beginning of the year, I think a lot of us fall into that trap of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And lately I've just very much been, okay, I'm going to start one new habit and just stick to that until it really sticks.
Yeah, we did try out a few different habit trackers to kind of see. I think neither of us, I'm more of a written out habit tracker kind of girl. Like I like having it added into whatever my year's planner is going to be and do that like for a month or two per habit. And you know, but we thought what's most accessible. And we thought, well, let's try some apps and see. And some, I think there's a really wide range. And I really do think that you can find something that is pretty simple to use. And we'll go over those in a little bit. But I think it's great to focus on a habit that you want to, like, why is it that you want to incorporate that into it? Like if it's flossing more because you listened to our podcast where we said that dental health is linked possibly to, you know, lack of cognitive decline. Well, if you want to floss, remember like the impetus behind it and get like excited and motivated and understand that you're going to slip up if you don't, if it's something new, no matter what it is, but always keeping track of it and being honest about it and continuing to work towards that. Because once you've set that habit, then you can have that to lie back on you. Sorry. Yeah, I meant to say to fall back on.
That's okay.
For your whole life. Like it's really nice. Once something is kind of embedded into your system, it's so much easier. Like you don't even have to think about it. So if you like habit trackers, the one that I found the most in line with Devon's ideology, I think, is Habit Rabbit. And that was really interesting because they have like, it's a game where you like get coins and carrots for completing habit tracks. Like you did your task every day, you get coins, and then you can help the rabbit like clean his room, do stuff. But it also just has like timers on it where it'll just be like, do this task. It takes 20 minutes. Like the first thing I did when I opened it is it just said meditation, 20 minutes. And then you hit start. And then when you finish that 20-minute meditation, you get some carrots so you guys can clean up his dirty socks. And he's like crying. So that was a little strange, but interesting. And I think there are a lot more that are kind of like just alerts that you get to remind yourself, like you're like, oh, right, I was going to go on a walk after work. Like, and then your phone buzzes and you're like, right. And then check it off. And then if you miss a day too, you can go back and see, you know, how many days that you were doing great. And I think that can be really nice motivation for yourself to see like how seriously you are taking this, so that if once in a while, like you fall behind or don't do it, there are also some of the apps I did have a specific way of marking if you don't complete a task. So if it was like a choice by you that you decide you're not going to do that today, or you forgot, or you were too stressed. And like those are like the three options. So you can decide which one, and then you can kind of go through and remember like, well, was there a legitimate reason why I couldn't go for a walk at 5? And be like, yes, there was a blizzard. Like we got to come up with a secondary activity. But I think that can be really helpful. But if you are like me and you enjoy paper habit trackers, I really love, like, you can get clear stamps, you can get stickers, and just slide them into your planner or like on your calendar and then just mark it that way. I mean, that's the preferred. That's the old school.
Yeah, for me, gonna be completely honest, I downloaded them and then I never opened them because I forgot they were there. So that's kind of how my brain works. I think I don't do as well necessarily tracking them as I do like on a written or in an app, as I do just focusing on one task and kind of monitoring, okay, I'm going to do this. Have I done this today? And then an idea I also got from the YouTuber Lydia Sen is habit stacking. So if you always, always if you like when you brush your teeth, if you have nighttime medication, your habit is to brush your teeth, then you take your medication with you brushing your teeth. So you already have that habit. So adding that extra thing. Or I have, the habit of packing my lunch every day at night. And so like on top of that, I added the habit of laying out clothes for the next day because I like to sleep in late. So sometimes I'm in a rush. So I originally already had the habit of packing clothes I had the habit of packing lunch, and then I added to it the habit of laying out clothes. So it's much more manageable than doing it, trying to say, I'm going to add this and this and this. And it only adds an extra you don't have to figure out when you're going to do it. You just add it to something else already being done. And then it gives you, it only takes a little bit extra out of your day because you already have set aside, like in your head, that mentally every night. Or just simply just changing when habits are done. I have special toothpaste that I have to use every night, and you can't eat after 30 minutes after. So I was getting really frustrated because or drink anything either. I have to drink my nighttime tea to sleep. We'll be talking about sleep hygiene later. Coming up soon. So we'll talk about that as well. But I have to have so I was getting really frustrated because I couldn't have my tea right after I brushed my teeth. So I decided that before, like the first thing that I do before I start getting everything ready and doing my other nighttime routines is to brush my teeth. So that way, by the time I'm done with everything else, I can have my tea and I'm not stressed about it. So just kind of like maybe changing some things around to make them work better for you. And just doing little bite-sized pieces and not having to change it all at once. And just, things over time. And that's another thing I absolutely love is when I'm like, I'm going to incorporate this into my life. And then seeing a month later and realizing that I haven't even thought about it because it's just become part of my life, that this is become the way it is. And I really liked what you said earlier, that there's going to be slip-ups and kind of realizing there's going to be slip-ups and maybe coming up with a game plan, how you're going to handle that. I know that sometimes it's easy to get into the all or nothing thinking and it's easy to say, okay, I had a couple slip-ups, so I'm just, this isn't working for me and moving on. So I think that having a plan, like, okay, are we going to, if we stop doing this habit on a Wednesday, are we just going to wait and start it again on Monday? Or if we stop doing it at the end of the month, are we just going to wait and start it again on the first of the next month? Or are we going to go right back into it the next day? What would be best for your mental health? I think that is something to have a plan for.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And of course, there are the classic tips that I'll read through from Atomic Habits by James Clear.
That book.
So habit maintenance is an important part of maintaining, habits.
Yes.
Literally.
I love that.
I don't know why I said it that way, but
no, I love the phrasing though. I wouldn't think of that.
But you can track your new habit on an already formed habit, of course, stacking habits, but then also using little things like putting reminders in noticeable areas. So like if you're brushing your teeth at night and you want that reminder, maybe moving it to where you do your nighttime routine is after you brush your teeth in the morning. Or if you're somebody who brushes after every meal, like you're better than everyone. Like you don't have to worry about a thing. You're doing great. But also like little Post-it notes, putting them on your bathroom mirror to like remember different things. I'm really into bathroom focused things apparently, but I think a lot of times that's like where when you're waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth and everything, like that's like you're like, I'm awake, I'm here, let's do this. And like if it's remembering to bring your own coffee, remembering to make your own tea, remembering to do whatever it is, keeping some sort of physical reminder can be a really good help. And then also you can kind of choose what works best for you. Like maybe it's a reminder in your phone, maybe it's a reminder in your calendar. If you're often skipping lunch at work, making sure that you put that in and block it aside so that you're more cognizant of not skipping that time, so that you're having that like sit down time. And then just, I think, really dive into whatever tools you can online, like whether it be printing out a free habit tracker, downloading an app, downloading a reminder, going through and printing out. If you have a big spring cleaning in your house and you want to break it down into manageable steps and areas. And there are some great templates that will include some links to, where, especially from the University of Cincinnati grad school did a cool little article where she also put in links to a lot of different like to-do-list articles that had a bunch of habit trackers, and then also just like little, I mean, you can get Google document or Google image search and just get them that way, I guess, too.
Sorry, I've been waiting the whole time to cough. We can cut the coughs out, Ambrose.
I mean, honestly, we can cut out everything I said today.
No, it's been fantastic. I love it. And I also, another thing that I really loved from that book is just to start so small. One thing that I took from it is if you want to be somebody who reads just a lot more, just take a book with you. You don't have to read the book to start. Just take it with you to start that habit. And I think that is something that really is just, not putting your pressure on yourself to do anything with it. But after a while, you're going to open the book and you're going to start reading. But, just to kind of make yourself in that mindset and really just to start and not have to make it into a big thing, as I really think is the best. Yeah. And in our show notes, you'll see the articles that we referenced, and you'll also find some information about some of the applications that we tried. They're pretty bare bones reviews because we tried them out, but I don't think it really worked for either of us. Also, a lot of the, I don't know if it would if the ones are even that better, but a lot of the ones that are really well reviewed cost money. And
a lot of them cost money. Yeah, there is one that I might buy because it was like $20 a year. And I was like, that's kind of reasonable.
Yeah. If it helps you, if it's a priority for you.
It's a really nice app, but it does push the ad it's pretty hard for the pro version. So if you have the means and you're interested in some of that, there are some options. Pretty much all the ones that we have a paid version, but I think for a lot of them, the free versions are pretty comparable.
Yeah.
So we'll include that. And then, of course, comment with any future topics you'd like to have us review. And thank you for listening.
We have quite a few coming up, so stay tuned. Mm-hmm. And now it's time for a fun fact. I have mine.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. I'm really excited about this. As I'm doing my first polar plunge. I've always wanted to do it, and I had this moment of, I'm a grown adult. I can do what I wanted to. Why did I never sign up for this? And so the AYCC in Waterville is having one. And I am going to do a polar plunge on March 16th. And I am very excited about it.
Very nice. Very nice. My fun fact is that I had 2 gerbils growing up that both lived to be 5 years old.
Wow. I don't know much about gerbils, but I feel like that's old.
Yeah, we nailed it.
That's awesome.
2 happy little clams. Their names were Megan and Tucker.
Oh, I love that name.
Tucker 2.0. Tucker Y2K. He was the second Tucker in a trilogy.
Wait, was there another Tucker?
There was another Tucker afterwards. Technically, his name was Morocco. But we called him Rocco, and then we just called him Tucker.
I love that about pets, since they just have their own story.
Megan was named after my sister's best friends, both named Megan. So she was very cool. And then my other gerbil was named after my brother, so it was just named Josh.
I think it's fun to give pets real people names.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We go hard for it, and they love it.
I feel like I want to be a pet in your house because I feel like your pets are treated better than I treat myself. And I love that.
Honestly, Valentine's Day was a slam dunk at our house. Those bunnies were so happy. They're like eating rose petals, relaxing in hay, flowers, and shredded pink and red and white paper. They're loving it. Our smallest Valentines.
That's so sweet. I love that.
They're great guys. Okay, that's all.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.
And come back soon.
Come back soon to listen to
The Danger in Silence.
There you go. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.